get older has to be one of the weirdest experiences that you can go through, and sometimes it comes with a lot of guilt.
Hi, my name's Shannon, and I am an elder law attorney and also a life care planning attorney. And I just want to give a little feedback on this idea of feeling guilty for not being closer to parents as they're moving through the aging and sunsetting of life. So I see a lot of families that struggle with this issue, in particular spouses and local children who try and put themselves into caregiver roles for our person who may be suffering from a chronic condition like Parkinson's or dementia, or they have a terminal illness and they're going through, the last part of this this life. And I want to share with you that one of the things that can be very challenging, not just for you, but also for our person who is going through the process of dealing with the infirmities of aging or the difficulties of an illness. You're not a caregiver. You weren't trained as a caregiver. You may not understand, how to care for someone as they're experiencing some of the changes that they are. And what it also can do is it can take you out of your role that you might have outside of your parents needing you to provide support to them role. So if you have your own family, you've got a job, you've got community obligations, you've got self-care that you need to do, you need to keep yourself healthy, you've got to sleep. All those things are really, really important to living a full life. And typically our loved one, and in particular, those of the Great Generation and baby boomers, they really value their privacy and their independence. Baby boomers in particular, they're very strong in their desire to be really independent and stay home as long as possible. I mean, sometimes they want to go to like an independent living situation, or they want to, sometimes they crave that social interaction. So sometimes we see them in cooperative senior living apartments or CCRCs, continuing care residential centers. So, depending on the needs of your loved one, it's important to recognize that we are not caregivers. So sometimes what we can do is create a plan, a plan that incorporates people who are trained in dealing with some of the things that might be needed. And it might just be providing like cooking and cleaning. That may be all that is really necessary right now. But the benefit of living in today's world is that smart technology is incredible. We actually have methods for providing like portals to our loved ones so that, we can kind of dial in the morning and check in. They can find us by voice activation. You can find out by using things like Aura rings or smart watches, how their hearts are doing. You can track their sleep. You can find out even by using certain inserts into toilets if they're hydrated. A notification can come to you when they haven't gotten out of bed or when they've been in the bathroom too long. The technology today is incredible. So, my suggestion is let's sit down with your parent and maybe with a life care planning attorney and come up with a plan. Do an estate plan. That becomes really important for financial decision making, and also, just understanding what their assets are and if they have a long-term care plan. So if they needed nursing home care, would we be looking at a Medicaid situation, or would we have sufficient assets to provide for that long-term care? And then, also healthcare advocacy. What is their healthcare plan? What would happen if they got a bed sore or needed some healthcare advocacy? Having somebody who can provide that type of service as well is also really important. So my point here is, and also exploitation protection. We need to make sure that they're not being exploited, and there are a lot of tools out there that can help us prevent exploitation these days. But my point here is that, your parent is maybe getting to that point where they need more help, but it doesn't necessarily need to be you. and you do not need to feel guilty about it. They know that you love them. So, maybe think about some other options for providing that presence in their lives. I just wanted to share that with you because I know it's an ongoing struggle. And I think it's important for us to really kind of understand that this fairy tale of like swooping into town and now we can take care of all the needs of our loved one because we're here and present. It doesn't really work that way. So instead, there are some other options that end up being better, not just for you and your family, but also for our loved one going through this process. All right, that's all I wanted to tell you. Again, I'm Shannon Miller.